Hey, Rob. I didn't know if there was a message that Coach Arian sent you guys today, or that he delivered to you guys today as you begun your preparations for your first postseason game.
Yeah, make sure we're prepared. We got to go out there. We got to have good practices. We got to make sure we're doing our assignments, correct assignments, making sure, we dot the I's, cross the T's. And if you don't really know a play that well, get in your playbook and make sure you come back tomorrow with everything corrected if you messed up on something. So it's basically just get focused and just know your plays inside and out.
Could you feel a change in mood and energy with the team this week compared to previous weeks?
I mean, I feel like this team always prepares a week in and week out throughout the regular season at a high level. And it feels like it's just going to be another high level week, that you're zoned in every minute that you're in this building and just focusing on our opponent and focusing on the game for on Sunday.
Thank you.
Go to Kevin O'Donnell.
Hey, Gronk, now you've had the full season under your belt at Raymond James Stadium. What was the environment like this whole season long now that there's fans back in that building?
Yeah, it was a great environment this year, especially, that was kind of having my, first experience this year of having a full stadium at Raymond James. And the crew, they were awesome. The fans, our Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans, they were amazing this year. They supported us like no other. And every single home game felt just, great to be out there. The energy levels were high. They were cheering from beginning of the game to end of the game. So just much love to them. The crew, our fans, sending much love to them and thank them for all the support that they've given us throughout the season. And let's roll it into the playoffs now.
You talk about having to lock in at this point of the year. Tom's always focused, hyper focused. Does it change though for the playoffs with him? Can he raise it even a higher level?
I mean, Tom, the guy prepares, like last week's regular season game was was a playoff game. So he prepares, week in and week out the same. I would just say that, he's just bringing that laser focus this week, taking the preparation just up a notch and just making sure, everyone is on the same page out there, out in the field. And if not, get the corrections now during practice. So we're good to go for the game.
We'll go to Rick Stroud.
Hey, Gronk, there was a time there where at least we were very concerned, with the rib injury. You came back maybe a little too early, had to go out again. When you look at what you've been able to accomplish and really lead this team, I know nothing probably surprises you, but how pleased are you that you were able to be such a big part of this year?
Yeah, definitely. This year was definitely a successful year, successful season, for the team, for the organization, getting 13 wins in the first time in this organization history. And then, and then set aside, for myself, just a successful season, making plays when my number was called, getting blocks down, helping out the running back to make some yards. So just overall, I would say it was a pretty good season for sure. From team wise to, my personal, stance of my playing. But that doesn't matter now. The regular season's done now. We got to carry that into the playoffs now. We got to, if we want to win and not go home, you got to amp it up a notch. You got to make sure that you're on top of your game at all times. Cause there's a couple of times during the season where, you're not really on top of your game. And then, majority of the time you're on top of your game during the regular season, but now it's playoff time. Got to make sure that you're amped. You got the energy levels high and that you're ready to go every single play. Cause every play is huge in the playoffs.
Thanks.
Go to JC Allen.
Gronk, you didn't play in that game against the Eagles back in week 6. What have you seen on tape so far? Or what has Tom showed you that he's seen on tape so far that presents a matchup problem for them?
Yes. They're a team, that has a great front four. No doubt they like to get to the quarterback. They play hard as a unit on the front four. And I would say that, they're smart football players in the secondary. No doubt about that. They play the game smart. They know how to work together as a unit on side of zone defense. That's huge. and they kind of play it safe. I would say more safe, out there. So you're not, throwing deep balls and getting a 50-yard play. So you got to go out there and you got to beat the team. You got to beat the defense. You got to actually put the work in, make the little plays, make a guy miss for, an extra 5 yards and keep, the chains rolling like that. So they make you earn it, no doubt about it. And you got to play smart football versus them in order to move the ball.
In Tom's podcast on Monday, the Let's Go podcast, he said you're the greatest tight end of all time. Just what does that mean to hear someone of his stature? Obviously, you guys are very close, but what does that mean to hear him say that? And how does that make you feel?
It just makes me want to keep working. He said it before, but you got to keep working, man. That just makes me, stay motivated because in order to be, put in that category or even mentioned in that category, it takes a lot of work. It takes work every single week, every single day, mentally and physically. And on top of it, you got to keep improving, finding ways to improve. So in order, to just keep being mentioned in that category, especially from a player like Tom, I just got to find ways to keep improving every single week and just keep, amping up my game every week and, in order to help out this team.
We'll go to Evan Klosky.
Hey, Rob, just a couple questions. First off, you talked about getting amped up for the playoffs beginning this week. Do you feel that in the locker room? And is there a discernible difference between the vibes entering the playoffs this season with the experience of last year underneath your belts versus last year, where for a lot of guys around you, it was their first ride in the playoffs?
Last year was last year. It's kind of a year ago, so you don't really remember the exact feel of, the team. I remember we were riding high though off a 4-game win streak last year. But I mean, this year, I feel like, I would say that, guys are more prepared of what's going to, what it's going to be like. I would say it's just another game. I know it's a playoff game and you got to be alert, but I'm saying it's once you start playing, it's a game of football. It's not like, you're doing taekwondo out there now and it's the playoffs. It's the game of football that you're playing. You've been playing it your whole life because there is a lot of, hype, for the playoff games. And so when you get out there, you just want to make sure you're centered and know that what you've been doing all year, you just got to keep performing like that. So I would just say the alertness level this week, is high. Got to make sure that we just on top of everything and play smart football.
And just also, I don't know if you saw NFL Films. They released your game experience from week 18. Did you see that video? And, is there maybe an expansion of the song with Donovan Smith about taking a Millie to the city?
Oh man, we were just talking about that, Donnie and I'm out there at practice today, and that was a good time. We were both talking. We weren't sure what we were gonna say. We're going to, and I was waiting for him to say something, and he was waiting for me to something, and then we came up with the city. We going to the city. So I asked him what was really in his mind. He goes, "No, what was really in your mind where we were gonna really go?" And I was like, "To the city, dog." But we'll see what happens.
We have time for a few more. We'll finish off with Sarah Walsh and Jenna Lane.
Hi, Rob. I know after Sunday's game, you had talked about the start and that you didn't like those first couple drives, right? I'm just curious, is there anything like as you guys are going through walkthroughs, any way you like put a premium on that, or what can you do? I know that it's been like a point of emphasis for you guys. So when you go to the practice field, what can you do to, I guess, put yourself in a position that you like that start better?
I would say, right when you hit the practice field, being on top of your game, right when practice starts, make sure you're prepared. You're not still warming up, in the first period. You're ready to roll. You're ready to catch full speed, run full speed, block full speed when you step out on the practice field. And then that will continue into the game. It's the best way to simulate, a fast start in the game is just, rolling out the practice and just making sure everyone knows their assignments and you're just playing fast football from the get-go, from the very first play, from the very first snap in practice.
And last question will come from Jenna Lane.
Hey, Rob. I talked to a few of the folks, some of your former teammates in New England, about some of these meetings that Tom would lead for like maybe 15 minutes the night before games, before your group team meetings, and he would lead them with a bunch of his different receiving targets. And I'm just curious, are you guys still doing that? And what are those like as you guys get ready for these playoff games? I know his attention to detail is just, he keys in on so much of that
Yeah.
stuff. So I'm curious,
Yeah.
what those are like.
Yeah, I mean, every once in a while, once or twice a week, Tom, gets together with, the skill players, sometimes the offensive line. And you just said it, exactly how it is. It's to pay attention to the details, just to make sure that everyone is on the same page, that, the motion is exactly where it needs to be. Or the call is exactly the right call that needs to happen, So it's really just, getting that fine fix of just knowing every little detail of what's going on with that play. And that's exactly what it is when, when Tom gets together with the skill players or the linemen or whatever it is. It's just to make sure that there's just no mental mistakes, no dumb mistakes, so that you're not in the game like, dang it, we should have went over that. It's just so you can go out there and you can play clean football on Sunday and just make sure everyone knows their assignments to a T.
All right, that's all we have time for. Appreciate taking
Thank you,
time,
guys.
Rob.